of mold. Call Henry Bean of X1 Adjusters for a free inspection to review your current policy or analyze your existing claim. Henry Bean has recovered $1 million for property owners all across the state of Florida, just like you. The insurance company has their own adjusters, and you should have your own as well. Call Henry Bean the Adjuster now at 954-901-4495. Henry is ready to help you, and all his inspections are always free. Once again, that number is 954-901-4495, or send an email to henry@x1adjusters.com. X1 Adjusters.
This is a solicitation for business. If you have had a claim for an insured property loss or damage, and you are satisfied with the payment by the insurer, you may disregard this advertisement.
I'm a young black man doing all that I can to stand. Oh, but I look around and I see what's being done to my kind. Every day I'm being hard to this prey. My people don't want no trouble. We finna no struggle. I just wanna live. God protect me. I just wanna live. I just wanna live.
This is Revolution Church. The year is 2020, the number. Another summer, get down. Sound of the funky drummer. Music hitting the heart, cause I know you got soul. Brothers and sisters.
The information age got them seeing what's really wrong with these racist days. I honor the strong and pity the weak. Your thoughts run your life, be careful what you think. Haiti beat France in century 17. Salute Toussaint and Dessalines. And I do love France, know what I mean? It's a system I'm talking, nobody's agreeing. They say it's suicide when dead bodies are swinging. Cowards are hunting black men, that's what I'm seeing. How many toasters have been burnt down? And once Central Park was a thriving black town. Yo, Chuck, I'm fighting the power right now. Thanks to you, Flav and P.E. Putting it down, putting your life on the line so I can rap now. The next generation still singing fight the power.
Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. We got the fight. to fight the powers that be. Elvis was a hero of the month, but he never meant to me. You say straight up racist, the sucker was simple and plain. Cause I'm black and I'm proud, I'm ready, I'm hyper, I'm amped. Most of my heroes don't appear no stamp. Sample look like you look and find nothing but Reginald for 400 years if you check. Don't worry, be happy. Was a number one jam. Then if I said you could slap me right here. Get it. Let's get this party started right. Right on, come on. What we got to say? Power to the people, know the lay. Make everybody see in order to fight the powers that be.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a Wednesday edition of Ask Mathis. I'm your host, Reginald Mathis, and rocking with me is my brother, Wild Man Teddy T, a.k.a. Baron the Mound Builder.
Hey, what's happening, everybody?
That's what it is, man. And then we got behind the wheels and steel, the guy behind BackStage, DJ Newkirk. What it do?
I'm here, my brother. Just low. Here we go. I'm here, man. Chilling with you.
Yes,
vibing.
indeed. Yes, indeed, man. So we got a, action-filled, substance-filled today. We got our brother Ramon, Absolute Robinson, in studio and a few. So we're going to get right to it, man. And, of course, these broadcasts are brought to you by X1 Adjusters and Mr. Henry Bean. If y'all got any kind of issue, man, weather-related issue with your home, y'all give X1 Adjusters a call, man. Let them come out and give you all that free look-see, that free inspection, man. Henry Bean will come out just back from Texas, getting them people checks out there. So y'all make sure y'all give them a call at 954-901-4495, man. Y'all do that. And, check this out, man. I'm just getting this. I love getting stuff in the mail. Love getting the stuff in the mail. So let's see what we got. Oh, yes, it is. We have our Frederick Benjamin Daily Hydration, Styling Cream, Conditioner, and we got the shampoo. Yes, indeed, man. So I'm part of that, they just send it straight to your crib, man. So you don't even have to run the Sally's or none of that stuff, man. You just subscribe, and I get it about every other month, man. Every other month. So shout out to Frederick Benjamin, man. Like I said, get you looking right. See that nice bottle. Get you the shampoo. Hit you with the conditioner. And then hit you with the Daily Hydrator. Frederick Benjamin. Y'all make sure y'all check that out, man. Get it for the beard, ladies, get it for your man. Go on Facebook, Frederick Benjamin, man. Y'all check out those products, black owned. And it's the Ask Mathis Show, 786-801-0031 on Strong Arm Radio. We does this Monday through Friday. Weekdays, man. I hope you guys enjoyed Monday. I know I did. Pastor Marcus Davidson from New Mount Olive, man. If you didn't get something out of that, I don't know what to tell you, man. But I know I did. I did as well. So, Boulder, man, another mass shooting. So as soon as we come from the Atlanta, Georgia shootings, man, where they killed 8, they turn around and killed 10. In Boulder, Colorado. So 21-year-old Muslim guy, they're saying, his brother's saying he had some type of mental issues that was going on. Say he was bullied bullied in high school. So just do the years. Let's see if he's 21. So that takes him right smack in the middle of the Muslim ban. Do we give Donald Trump any credit, any responsibility for, folks who are mentally ill, for feeling like the whole country is against them and the community is against them, and he just decided to come out there. He bought the AR-15 allegedly 6 days before the shooting, and just came in there, man, and if anyone has ever attended a murder trial, you know, if you've seen a murder trial, man, you see that, you know, the carnage that's caused by an assault weapon, an assault rifle, man. You really don't want to see it, man. You hear closed caskets, man, when you get hit, you know, with one of those weapons of war. And so, of course, you know, as with every mass shooting, there's a rush to get our politicians to do something. So you have the politicians on the left, the Democrats, who run and say, you know, let's pull all your assault weapons. You know, let's increase the background checks. Let's, you know, impose another assault weapons ban. And then you have the folks on the right and the NRA who come in there and say, well, this legislation would not have prevented this mass shooting from happening, and it wouldn't have prevented any of the other mass shootings from happening. So you guys are just fundraising and grandstanding off the backs and off the deaths of what's going on in these tragedies. So what do you say about that, Teddy T, when it comes down to these mass shootings? Like, what do you think can be done?
You know, it's really they're random, but at the same time they have the intel of the people who are moving in these elements. You know what I mean? I think that it's definitely coming from a source. You know, it's like these people just aren't randomly doing these.
Newkirk, you showing some of the
Yeah, I was showing some. I'm gonna put it back up. I was showing some while you were talking. It's sad, you know what I mean, that people is constantly getting killed, and they should do something about guns, but you know, it's going to be war about them doing something about this.
But it's more so about the assault weapons.
The assault weapons, yeah.
It's
not the
definitely
guns.
about
Regular
the assault
guns
weapons.
is fine.
It's not. This is not an attack on the Second Amendment, right?
No, not at all.
And that's the issue. I mean, and that's the issue, bro. Because when you talk about, you know, assault weapons and rifles like that, there's not a fair fight. But when you in your crib and somebody attacks your crib, you don't want a fair fight. You want to, you know, you want to handle business and get everybody up out of there. The issue is when you leave your home, you know, and maybe that should be some of the legislation that should be considered, that assault weapons and rifles and stuff like that you shouldn't be able to leave the crib with it unless you are specifically going hunting or somewhere, you know, just to have in your car or in your truck. I mean, that is for what?
I think if you can't have them, you know, because even if you got them for hunting, they're still going to be there. They're still going to be out there. You know, I remember watching in the 90s, you know, how the AKs just took over the streets, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, we didn't have a lot of what they call drive-by shootings in California, but now we have a lot of people getting sprayed, you know what I'm saying? And it's a whole technique. You know, I had these guys that were wanted to ride. They was in Macon, and they I seen them and they had backpacks. I said, nah, them kids got AKs in them backpacks. And sure enough, the dude called to say, man, don't pick them up. They just shot 2 people down here, and they called a bus to Macon, you know? And these are kids with AK-47s, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely, I would say you got to totally ban, because, you know, like they said, you know, when you get shot with an AK or these assault rifles, it's not funny. It's not. It's really not, you know. Dismemberment is called.
Yeah, whatever it touches, you know, it's like an eraser. You know, it's like an eraser, man. You know, if it touches your shoulder's gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it touch your leg, it's gone. You know, it's really not a fair fight. There are weapons of war that should not be, you know, in the cities. In the cities, man. So, how was your trip, man? How was your trip to the ATL in Jacksonville?
Man, Jacksonville was great. We had a comedy show with Carlos Miller, and I had Novocaine there. He got the song played. The comedian Carlos Miller had him pretty much in his whole comedy thing the whole time. And Ross performed that night. and Frank, the guy from Mascara's his birthday party,
Frank Lucas,
and then Sunday,
Frank Marshall. Frank
Sunday, Bigger the Basement. Trina's 21st anniversary party was star-studded, celebrity status.
So did y'all drive or?
Yeah, we drove.
So you shot up to Atlanta. It was about 3 hours.
4 hours.
From Jacksonville to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. And then we did the Coalition DJs on Monday night, and that was really good. We had YD was there with us, King Zo was there, and Novocaine really turned up. He got the Coalition DJs co-signing him right now. Okay. So it was good. Great little 1, 2, 3. You know, Trina's party was definitely great just to see all the different celebrities and everybody there. It was cool.
That's what's up, man.
Absolutely. See, I gotta get absolute.
That's what it is, man. So this is the Ask Mathis show, man. We bring it to you, you know, weekdays, 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And, you know, you know, great to report that, you know, we got that stimmy. It just hit about an hour ago. Yes, indeed. So I'm feeling all right, man. I'm feeling very, very blue today, even though I'm not a Democrat, but I'm feeling very blue today because that stimulus hit, man. So I'm just letting y'all know. So we feeling good. It hit about an hour ago. And so one story, man, we had that I would like to, you know, come back on, man. We had D Wade, man. You know, we was talking about D Wade and his youngest, I guess, daughter, who was born a boy, Zion, who now goes by the name Zaya, and is a, you know, they call her. So D Wade calls her. And so we had our own take on that, basically saying, hey, you know, when you reach a certain, you know, age, you know, maybe parents condoning any kind of gender transformation, you know, that may have been a little bit too much, you know, because the kid could change his mind, you know, because that's the definition of a kid. A kid doesn't know, and the parents have to lead. So we went pretty hard on D Wade and Gabrielle Union for the son. But as we always do, man, we try to keep it 1,000. We have no agenda here at the Ask Mathis other than getting the information out, because knowledge is power. So I saw this interview, which you have up now, Newkirk, with D Wade. It was called I Am Athlete is the name of it. So it's Channing Crowder, Ricky Clark, Fred Taylor, and Brandon Marshall. You know, athletes, mostly football players. And they had, you know, D Wade on there. And so, you know, it's talking about a whole lot of stuff. You know, D Wade's opinion on LeBron, on who's the GOAT. You know, he says Michael Jordan, you know, understandable. He grew up in Chicago. But then, you know, it got real. And they started talking about his son. And the fact that Lil Boosie, you know, came out, you know, with some comments. So put D Wade on the spot, man. And I must say, D Wade, you know, a lot of us can learn from D Wade. We really, I mean, he's 39 years old, but to me, he's always played above his weight class. You know, he's never been the biggest guy, the most athletic guy, but he's had a heart that he played with. And when you know, that was my first time listening to him for that long, because the interview was well over an hour. And what he said about his son was that at 3 years old, they started noticing that, you know, his son was wearing heels and, you know, wanted to try on dresses and want to do things like that. And, you know, he started questioning himself. D Wade started questioning himself, like, what's going to happen? And so he said 5 years later, at 8 years old, he said, his son came and told him, or at that time, his son came and told him that, we had to write this, report in school, and the report says that he's gay. He identified as gay at 8 years old. And so the school contacted D. Wade and said, hey, we're going to post these all around the school, but we don't want to post these without you knowing like what he said, that he's identifying at 8 years old as gay. And he's 13 now, so they've had to live with it. And for one of the things he let us know is like with any family, families have their own issues. We all do. And so, but when you live, or when some of your people live in the public eye, folks going to come in and they're going to opine, as we did. We came in and we opined. Scrutinize, you hate, you can call it what you want, but what he did is he basically came out and said, this is an issue that we have to do, and one of the things that I'm going to do for all of my children is make sure that they know that they are loved and that they are supported for being who they are, not who you would necessarily want them to be, and not to necessarily raise you the way they was raised and whatnot. But I mean, it's just interesting and curious that I just wanted to come and bring his perspective, because we did not have his perspective, and he wasn't mad at Boosie. He wasn't mad at all. He basically just said, he wanted to thank him for the conversation, because it makes him think, because at the end of the day, he still got to live with it. And he was like, when he came out, and in the beginning they were taking pictures, but they were excluding Zaya now from the photographs, and they were saying, it was to protect Zaya, but they was like, Zaya is cool. Zaya really don't care what people think. So he was saying, is this more so to protect me? Me and Gabby.
Right.
And so he had to think about that. He was like, and I just gained a lot more respect. I always had respect for D. Wade. And I'm not saying that I agree with what he's doing, but I also am saying that that's his issue. I'm not even going to call it his problem, but that's his issue and his situation.
You got to deal with it the way he have to deal with it for what's best for his family. I mean, when you see there's what they call these chemical imbalances that happen, more estrogen, more testosterone. And I remember just growing up as a kid, you could always tell the kids who was going to kind of switch up a little bit, because of the femininity that they had in them, you know what I mean? And that's just the chemical imbalance based off of, to me, what they're eating, so that's the way. You can't just feel like, these things are just happening. They're happening from the inside,
Thank you, Dr. T.
Thank you.
And we got our very, very special guest, man. We told you guys, coming to the stage. Woo! We have Ramon Absolute Robinson, man. He's a good brother. And we have him live in the studio. What's good, sir?
What's going on, man? My apologies for the tardiness. I greatly appreciate you brothers for inviting me on. I've been a fan of both of you guys. You guys know that for a very long time, so it's an honor to be here.
The honor's all ours, brother. I mean, especially a brother as talented as yourself. So,
well, thank you.
I see you brought a couple things in here. We had our guest, Pastor Marcus Davidson. We had him, on Monday, and I see you have something with his picture.
Yes, sir.
On the front cover.
So we got a Grace magazine. So we just started producing this magazine, Grace magazine, and I wanted to make sure I brought one for you guys, so you guys can have this to check out. Just another way for us to kind of get our messages out there in our community, because we don't have access to the media as we should. We have shows like this, but there's only so much you brothers can do. Only so many people that can come on the show. And so we're just trying to reach out to people and provide other platforms for people in our community to get a positive message out there.
That's what it is, man. So, what got you into this, man? What's your background, brother?
So, I started out doing music and just being in the hip-hop community. For a while, I got to see some of the negative energy that was being really pushed and promoted by the major labels. And it just made me rethink how I was putting out content. As an independent artist, is that something that I want to do as well? Do I want to be putting out this kind of content, or do I want to be building within the community? You know, and when I say that, I mean, you know, I'm looking at people like Pastor Davidson. I'm looking at people like yourself that has a completely different image than what we're used to, and the way that you build others up by the message you put out. You know, there's not a lot of black attorneys that we can actually touch and ask questions of. You know, and so it's so important that we start putting those messages out there, highlighting the good in the community, and really supporting people in the community. Thank you for that, Teddy T.
Hey, you know, ain't no telling, you know, Teddy T, boy, he always pull it out the AK.
Oh, I love that. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, excuse me if I'm blunt, but I got no joke. Smoking mirrors is clear. They selling this image, invented this lane, and render the rapper playing the role of this. Ghetto, sold your soul for some metal, so you settle for some gold on your chest instead of gold. You manifest, then invest. See, the message say suppress, so the people are oppressed. Never express your success through the things you may possess. You are blessed with more than you are given, unless you show up. Don't let this money make you driven. I can't even count my blessings. Got this melanin embedded in my skin. Oh, where shall I begin? Nobody knows the truth of the troubles they taking in. So everybody wanna be that guy. Let's see what's up. Maybe this one's on the rise. Is this one coming up? Everybody got a mic, but no one's stepping up. You've been part-time rapping, nah, just wrap it up. Everybody wanna be that guy. Let's see what's up. Maybe this one's on the rise. Is this one coming up? Everybody got a mic, but no one's stepping up. You've been part-time rapping, nah, just wrap it up.
Yeah,
Appreciate
man,
that
I
plug there.
love this positivity, bro. I love this positivity. That's one of the things. Everything that I see that you connected with is just positive, man. And, you know, from the comic book series that you have, and, you know, it's just positivity, man. So, you know, what's your background, bro, as far as, you know, going from music to media?
Well, my family has always been involved in like community work. Growing up, you know, I remember being out in Texas and going with my grandmother. She always fed the homeless, and she was always donating money and time, and that was just the way she lived her life. And I think I picked up on a lot of that, and my parents did the same thing. And so as a family, we've always been involved in the community. But I didn't realize my place in the community in that it was when making music, for instance. I always use music because that's something I'm very passionate about. It's like when you have positive affirmations, music can be that, you know, and you can give that positive message to the children. And so your music can build in the community, you know what I'm saying? And so if you're building up the people in the community, you are a builder, you know, and so I wanted to be that builder when it came to the music. But as I'm doing that and I'm making more positive music, and I'm making sure that anything that I say is more uplifting within that music, I start to get into creating those comic books, and we started creating comic books just like lyric books. You know, it wasn't a full-on comic book. I wasn't writing like that. I was actually kind of scared to write a book because I had never written anything where I was so much worried about grammar and punctuations, because usually when you're writing a song, only you're really seeing the lyrics as you're writing them down, you know. And so my mom just told me, man, you write so much, and I at this point I had written like 2,500 songs before I even started thinking about writing a book. And she's like, you write so much and you're always writing, you really should look into writing a book. And so because I was scared, all I did is I just made this lyric book. Like we used to get back in the day, like you'd get like Outkast and the lyrics would be in there and stuff, and they'd have this whole story. And I was like, man, it'd be dope to get something like that now, because we're not really getting that because everything is really digital.
Yes.
And so I was like, you know, I'm going to do a comic book based off a song because I do a lot of storytelling. And so I did that, and the local Pepsi distribution plant loved it, and it was American Soldier. And Teddy T was with me when we did this, matter of fact. And they purchased a bunch of them, and I realized that there was an opportunity financially in building, you know, and that other people wanted to be a part of building the community up. And Pepsi, like, that was our first really entrance into, like, music as a business. I didn't really even understand the business until they came through and was like, hey, we support what you're doing. It was called American Soldier, right? It was, and it turned out to be amazing. It was life-changing for me. And we've only gotten bigger. We've been able to do things at the Museum of Discovery and Science, which was mind blowing for me. We were part of Hall of Heroes for the comic books that we had done. But that's a place that I went to as a child, and then to go back in there and be a part of something and help the youth create comic books. And we worked on a little comic book character with them about the otters that they have there at the Museum of Discovery and Science. And so, just from a child, I was always into building in the community, but I really didn't realize that I could create so much, whether it be working with Education Alliance, Community Education Alliance out of Fort Lauderdale, and creating the magazine, creating these trading cards. We're working with the Westside Gazette newspaper. Positivity Pays Foundation is something that my business partner and I created from the music. So we started out as just a music, I guess, record label. Positivity Pays is what we called it, because all the music had to be positive. And then we met with somebody who actually gave us the funding to start a nonprofit. He was like, look, man, I love what you're doing so much. If you're willing to take this gift, I will pay for everything dealing with your nonprofit for you to get this off the ground. And so that's how we've gotten here to where you have Positivity Pays Foundation.
Paying it forward. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome to pay it forward. So where'd you grow up?
I grew up here. I grew up in, not Miami, but I grew up in North Lauderdale.
Okay.
Yeah, so I grew up in North Lauderdale. I graduated from Coconut Creek High. Went off.
You know Benjamin Miller?
Not familiar.
He wasn't there. He was an English teacher at Coconut Creek for a long time.
Man, I listen. In high school.
Melvin and Maurice Smith.
In high school, I wasn't paying much attention. I played ball, and it was like that was the only thing that had me, focus a little bit in high school. I was playing basketball. That was about it.
Okay. And so have you always done positive rap? Or?
No, man. I was doing a lot of just like negative stuff, and I remember one time we were headed out to, and I was having quite a bit of success with it financially. And I remember one time we were out in Milwaukee, and we had a Bentley, we had this Mercedes, we had all this jewelry, and it was just really flashy. And this was about 2008, 2009, and it was super flashy, and I was young, and I was just loving it. And I remember us going through one community in Milwaukee that was really impoverished, and I remember people like kind of following us, and some people were just like amazed at everything, the opulence of it all, right? And then there was some people that started following us, looking to rob us. And thank God we had security with us. But I realized in that moment how just messed up it was to flaunt what I have in front of people who have so little. And it was like I was the problem at that point. And that's how I took it. I realized that I was doing more harm than good. And I was putting myself in a situation that if something happened, it would be my fault. If you're going into a community where they have nothing and you're flossing, flashing this money and doing all these things, it's like, where else are they gonna get it but from you?
Wow.
And so that's when I started
making a change. So that changed you right there, or
oh yeah,
or was it eventual?
No, it changed me immediately. With as far as my music. And then I remember I was sitting in church, and this finished me off, where I stopped cursing, I stopped using the N-word, everything. I was sitting in church, and my nephew was singing one of my songs, and he's 5 at the time. And it was a song I did called Hustlers and Hoes. And I'm his uncle, so he's like, this is dope. My uncle's successful, all this stuff. And he's singing this song, and I'm just thinking to myself while he's singing this song, it's my influence that has him doing this. So if he does something else from my influence, that's on me.
Wow.
And so that's that day, I never cursed again in the song. I never used the N-word. I promised I would never do anything like that, because I did not want to be a part of a child taking his music and going negative with it.
No, that's interesting that you say it, because, this last year, especially, heavy on the campaign, that we were saying that we had, a president who never took accountability for his words, saying, I can't make a person do this, or I can't make a person do that. Right. And we were warning since November, when he first came out and gave a speech. and started telling people to show up on January the 6th.
Right.
We started warning folks,
Gonna be a
stay
problem.
away from DC on January 6th. We saw it. Like, we
Right.
saw it very, very clearly. So it's just interesting when you talk about your 5-year-old nephew and the influence. You knew you had an influence on him, and it was something that you decided to take ownership of and to influence him in a different way, in a more positive way. And we certainly can't get, or we could not get, the leader of the free world to do the same. So, so tell us about, going from negative to positive, and what type of obstacles or challenges did you encounter, when you Bentley and Mercedes, all this jewelry, to when you decided to change your lyrics up. How did the industry treat you?
Well, as you could imagine, everybody's gonna say, don't nobody want to hear that corny, whatever. And without even hearing the music, that's just the first thing. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna call it corny. They're gonna call it this. They're gonna say it ain't rap. And that's just a part of it. That's a part of overcoming it. I knew that was gonna come with it. But I have examples, and I think we forget about the examples that we have in our community of positive artists. And so when I look at music as a whole, and I look at like the top selling artists, all of the top selling artists are positive because people can relate to that music. People want to hear something good, right? And so when you think about Michael Jackson, you think about James Brown, you think about Stevie Wonder, you can think about Bob Marley. I mean, there's so many amazing artists, but they were all positive.
Yes.
They all had a message to the music. The message resonated with different cultures, different races, different religions because of the message within the music. And I just thought, I get that people around me don't care to hear that, but I would rather be in a category with someone doing something like that, like a Bob Marley literally changing the way people see each other, than be in a category with somebody else who's degrading women and dogging our brothers out. And so I was just like, at the end of the day, it's tough now, but I don't want to be seen like that. And the first album we actually did, my father was a big part of making sure that I stayed focused. And if that was what I was going to do, that I was going to be strong enough to continue doing that. Because once you make your mind up on something like that, you're going to get hit with a lot of negative. We ended up getting a song award from Billboard for songwriting, and so we were one of the top songs for a song we did called 1031. Then we went to the Grammys for that album as well. And a lot of the stuff that we were able to accomplish with that, because I was not cursing and rapping a certain way, everybody considered it R&B. Nobody would consider it rap. And so the first album, every award that we won was for in R&B category.
And you wasn't singing at all.
There's no singing. I mean, I don't sing like that, so I've never.
Not even harmony.
Yeah, no.
Lyrics,
right.
Lyrics.
And so everybody was considering it R&B just because I wasn't cursing. I wasn't, doing like I was previously. And it goes to show you that they're purposely looking to put out that content like that.
I remember, like, you was getting crazy placement in the movies back then. You know what I mean? Like, crazy placement, and I was like, yeah, because the music is good. Like, it could go across the board, like you were saying. And that's what I was telling Sco, is like, when you're in the music business, there's a bunch of different ways that you can really get in and be successful because of music, commercials, placements, and all these video games. You don't even have to make a song for the charts, and you can be super rich. There's these girls called the Taylor Girls, and they are so, RCA gave them $15 million when they first started, and all they do is sell music on the internet. You'll never hear a Taylor Girls record on the charts, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like, just being able to work with you for so long, being able to see the elements of how you evolved, keeping it positive, staying focused. I remember when we met your father in the beginning, and we was picking the songs and doing everything, and it's just like 10 years later, to see you evolving even more and still keeping it going is definitely a testament to keep rocking, man. Appreciate you, what you're doing.
Appreciate you, man. Teddy T and DJ Sco were like, for me, that first, like when we went positive and clean, like, ain't nobody trying to hear that on the radio, right? Because it doesn't really even mix into what we're playing, right? And Teddy T and Sco were the first people to actually even put it on radio. Was here at Strong Arm. Was the first radio play that we got, the first people to take us in, the first people to really embrace clean, positive music that we're doing. And you know, that's why I'm like, you know, I've always looked at you guys a certain way here at Strong Arm because I see what Flo does, right? Flo is not the normal rapper. Like, Flo don't rap like nobody else. He's got his own thing, but then watch what he does in the community. Watch what he does at the Gospel Explosion. And I'm getting to see this, and it's like, all of that, I'm taking that in, you know? And as I'm growing as an artist, as I'm growing as a man, I'm like, that right there is how you create this change. You know, we go up against a lot in our community, just from a financial standpoint. So for somebody to bring those finances back and actually start distributing and creating jobs and creating a space for us to create, that's one of the dopest things that I had ever seen. I still haven't seen anything like that in my whole time really traveling, and recently I've been able to do a lot of just traveling. We've been to Haiti, Texas, New York.
So what have you done during the pandemic?
Pandemic, I've been creating. This is the magazine came out of the pandemic. The trading cards was right before the pandemic happened, but the trading cards really just blew up while the pandemic was going because I was able to reach out to more people.
You know, I've heard of a lot of people talking about the idea of doing like trading cards, you know, saying that, hey, you know, we got trading cards for sports folks and we have trading cards for baseball and football and basketball, but what about trading cards just for people in the community? Like, I've heard that idea, but this is the first time that I've actually seen it in action, you know, so I definitely want to salute you on that because I've heard about it, but I've never seen somebody actually do it, where you're taking, you know, images and people who are in the community and say, hey, you should know this person, or you should know that person, and that's something that, you know, will help our community, you know, in the long term, man, because, you know, everybody's not going to be a famous rapper. Everybody's not going to be a famous football player or a famous basketball player, you know.
But, you know, for me, it's so much more than that, because it's like, let's say you're an artist and you're trying to get in the music industry. The trading cards can introduce you to people, you know, and that's what they did for a lot of people that were into baseball. Like, you got introduced to some of these players through trading cards. Mm-hmm. If you don't know who's in the music industry, you don't know how to get into the music industry, the dopest thing to me is being able to have a trading card of Mathis, of Teddy T, of Flow Rider, being able to see them, hey, can you sign this? That opens up a conversation. Even being able to connect with them on social media. I might not know you, I may be in another state, but if I can connect with you on social media because I got this trading card, that could change everything for me.
Yeah, that, you know, just speaking of those, we can have a conversation off topic, man, but those NFTs that are going in there, this looks like that could fall right into that,
yes,
into
sir.
that space.
Yeah, we actually been talking about that quite a bit. I don't have the education that I want to around that just yet. But that's something that would be amazing to be a part of that and to continue to build on this. And I mean, just looking at the cards we have now, if you look at all these people, these are people that could change your life if you cross them, right? These are all positive people. These are people that own businesses, that have been to there's a couple of people that have been to NFL in it. There's Bobby Henry. He's the publisher of the West Side Gazette, yeah. Right? So imagine being able to talk to the actual publisher.
Just looking at that.
Right? So think about that. Like, I could talk to the publisher of the West Side Gazette. Most people don't even think about that, you know? And I didn't until I got a chance to sit down with Bobby Henry. Super cool. And I was like, man, imagine how your career can change once you start getting press, once you start realizing, like, I can reach these people. These people are down the street from me.
Right there.
Yeah, and
right
so
on Trump.
Yeah, like why would you not? You know, and so it's like these trading cards are really for us. We're not trying to make a bunch of money. We're not trying to do anything like that. This is community based, kind of a project that we want to be national, but we want people to be connected. We want other radio stations to reach out to each other. People, hey, if you're an artist, what's the easiest way? Hey, I can get with Teddy T. I got his social media right here on this card. You know what I'm saying? Let me send him a message. Let me comment on some of his stuff. And so that's why we're like, you know, we need to get going with this and we need to do more around this because there's so much opportunity with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So how can they reach you and, you know, learn more about just the movement?
So we have a website, which is positivitypays.com. If you go on positivitypage.com, we have T-shirts based around these trading cards where we'll take the image of each person and we'll make a shirt out of it. We use some of the quotes that they have around it. We got a Pastor Davidson shirt. We got a Kelvin Watson shirt. We have a Bobby Henry shirt, which is basically like showing the West Side Gazette in a whole. And on positivitypage.com, you can find all this stuff. All the trading cards are there. We're looking to make them into just like being able to give the JPEG and a PDF image. That way you can just save them on your phone as well.
Right, man. You doing the NFT without you
It's
even knowing
amazing.
it.
This is so great, and it's awesome for like kids to be able to know who's inside the community.
Right.
Like, that's the way. It's the best. That's one of the best things I see about it. And then the images of these are so creative that
Thanks.
you know anybody will love it. And you know you have the cartoonistic images or caricatures of other people.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah, so I don't have the other ones. I was like, man, we didn't sold out and we didn't gave them away, and so we have another set that I'll get you guys another set as well, because I want to make sure you brothers have exactly what it is, because I'm a lean on you guys as well. I'm gonna ask for your permission to create the Teddy T card, the Mathis card, Flow Rider card, but we want your permission in spreading that image and that message, because I think as a people we don't realize just your success creates like a blueprint.
No, absolutely.
You don't have to say anything.
No,
just be
absolutely.
successful,
No,
right?
absolutely. True. I tell people often, for as well as I did in school, I did not know any attorneys.
Right.
And because I did not know any attorneys, it took me a year before I got on track to go to law school, because I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody to come in and say, do this, do that. Did you do this? Did you do that? So when I go into, schools now, anytime, elementary school, middle school, high school, I always ask, how do you become a lawyer? And the folks will be like, I don't know. And I tell them, it's something about just the information and the knowledge that you tell somebody at a certain age that they can start doing. Because, I came out, magna cum laude, but still, because, you don't have anybody holding your hand.
Right.
And I didn't have any mentors. I didn't have anybody to come in and say, hey, you want to start, studying for the LSAT, or you want to take the Kaplan course, to get you ready for the LSAT, because it's not an IQ test, but it's a test-taking test, which is different. You have to learn how to take the test. It's not about facts and figures. It's about how to take the test. There's something called mapping, where you go in there and they present you with a problem, and it doesn't have anything to do with what the ultimate answers are. It's about how do you outline the question. How much time do you spend on the question? Because it's timed, and the way you map it, you're going to get, if let's say you get a fact pattern, and with that fact pattern, it's going to have 6 questions at the end of that fact pattern. Just by mapping properly, without knowing the substance, you're going to get 3 of the answers right, just in terms of setting up the map right. Before you even get into the substance, it's not about anything other than the map. So it's just different. It's just different things, and having those mentors, very, 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 very important. Mentors are very important. And in our community where, we got a lot of male absenteeism, we need to fill in the gap.
No, definitely.
We definitely need to fill in the gap. So,
Yeah,
brother, I appreciate what you're doing, absolute, and appreciate you blessing us with your presence here today. So, any last words you want to impart on our audience as far as what you got coming up next, or recruiting some people, or people you trying to get into?
Yeah, no, definitely. We definitely want information on people in the community. If you know somebody that's doing something great, or you yourself are doing something great, or you want to do something great, You know, we ask that you reach out to us, even on social media. You know, you can reach out to us at positivitypays.com. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, Positivity Pays, or you can reach out to me directly. But we want to hear from people in the community. We want people connected to each other. We want people to be able to, like you said, like even understanding how to take the test, right? You can't talk to me about that. I have to get you to the source. And so we want a way to connect people to the source of information. And that's what I think is going to make a lot of change in our community, is when we start connecting to the sources. And there's so many people that have accomplished great things. Like Teddy T has done this forever, right? Well, if you're trying to get in the music industry, I mean, if you're in this area, there's nobody better to connect with.
Bro, I can't even tell you, you're another example of how many guests that I done brought in or whatever without consulting Teddy at all, and then we get there, and then in the conversation, there's a Teddy connection.
Last week.
Yeah, always.
You know, almost every time. Like, not very many people. That just is a testament to the work that this man has put into this community, and he's a humble guy, but he's a resource for everyone, and he's still working, because he just hit me today with this new online school. You know, hit me with the brochure. You know, new online courses that our brother Wild Man Teddy T, a.k.a. Baron the Mound Builder, that he's doing, man. So he's still walking it like he's talking it, man. Anything you want to say before we get up out of here, Teddy?
Well, I mean, it's always great, man. When I saw you at Absolute, man, it's great, you know, that we bring out people that are real light in the community, that are really actually dedicated to, you know, be able to see the positivity, you know, the change, you know, and, you know, you know, it's the only thing you could do is just do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, if whatever you want to do in life, you know, this is what Absolute said. He said, just do it.
Here we go. Teddy T. And we got our brother Absolute in the building. And of course, man, X1 Adjusters and Henry Bean. If you having any kind of weather issue, y'all holler at your man. And, you know, y'all make sure y'all have that Frederick Benjamin come straight to your crib like it did mine. See my package? Get your hair straight, get your beard game right. Just do it. Just do it. Ask Mathis brought to you by X1 Adjusters, Henry Bean, and Frederick Benjamin. Style does good today. Yes. Absolute. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you for having me, man. It's an honor to be here.
Even when it hurts, you work through it. Got a little doubt, got to prove it. Don't quit now, you just do it. Just do it. Let the music take you. 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 Fed up, still, I never let up. Heart is steel. Bet you I can play that tough. What's enough when you get a rush from it? How much can you stomach when your guard is down? My God, tell me who can guard us now. Just look around, then look down. Now if you fall, you might find them. They frown cause your light's blinding. Like a diamond, you keep shining. Who gets higher than you? Not Phyllis Hyman. So you the killers for even trying. Been a realist, there's no denying. They was spying, and now they crying. Foul flagrant, I ain't even played them yet. Who got next? No rest for the weary. Gotta question every soul that's near me. But who hears me clearly? When I be down, will you be round to pick me up or put me down? I walk around without a sound. Excuse me, I'm just thinking out loud. Just think about how to make it happen without my heart and my mind overlapping. That's how it happens. Even when it hurts, you work through it. Got a little doubt, got to prove it. Don't quit now, you just do it. Even when it hurts, you work through it. Got a little doubt, got to prove it. Don't quit now, you just do it. Just do it. Let the music take you. 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 I'm tired of running. I'm losing my breath. Or better yet, what's left of my time here. I know my time is priceless. Too many fears and vices to face. Can't escape what I've created. Intimidated by the things that I'm yet to embrace. I'm feeling I'm short on faith. Can't base my future on my past mistakes. If I'm to move past it, just let it be the past. Been asking myself if I can do this, and who should I prove this to other than you? It's like I'm losing myself in all the doubt. Even in the darkness, I just hope to make it out. But I'm still thinking how blessed we are just to make it this shadows fall, let us fly amongst the stars. Searching for the light through the darkest of days. I'm checking my ways, living a page. See, there's more to my story than what's stored in me. There's more than just these stormy nights. There's a light and I fight for feeling this hope. I spoke my truth into existence. So there's not much distance between me and where I need to be. This time all I need is to believe in me, so I can be what I see when I dream of the finer things to touch it. I just needed some wings so high, I'm reaching my peak. All I need is a reach. I see success, got a little doubt, got to prove it. Don't quit now, you just do it. Even when it hurts, you work through it. Got a little doubt, got to prove it. Don't quit now, you just do it. Just do it. Let the music take you. 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 Even when it hurt, you work through it. Got a little doubt, got to prove it. Don't quit now, you just do it. Even when it hurts, you work through it. Got a little doubt, got to prove it. Don't quit now, you just do it.
You're locked into WSAR Strong Arm Radio, blazing the hottest hip hop and R&B.
I don't know if what we have is love, but it's on my mind. We might slide on it inside this club. Girl, close your eyes. 15 brothers, no friends when I pull up for peace of mind. Lights come on, I'ma need you to come find me. Don't be so shy.